Introduction to Shocking Crime Stories sets the stage for exploring narratives that captivate, horrify, and intrigue. Shocking crime stories are those that defy expectations with their gruesome nature, unexpected twists, or the sheer audacity of the crimes committed. They often involve elements that are either unusually brutal, disturbingly clever, or contain an element of mystery that captures the public's imagination. These stories are significant because they illuminate the darker facets of human behavior, challenge our understanding of morality, and evoke strong societal reactions. The importance of delving into such stories lies in their ability to provoke public discourse, aid in understanding criminal behavior, and sometimes even influence legal and social reforms. Consider the infamous case of Jack the Ripper in late 19th century London, a compelling example that remains unsolved to this day. The mysterious and grisly nature of the crimes captivated the public and press, influencing investigative procedures and public awareness about serial crimes. Another example is the story of the Manson family, whose murder spree in the late 1960s shocked the world and highlighted issues of cult influence and the dark side of the counterculture movement. Some support the exploration of shocking crime stories for their educational value, offering insights into the criminal mind and serving as cautionary tales. They also provide a form of cathartic release, allowing people to confront fears in a controlled manner. However, there are challenges and controversies surrounding this fascination. Critics argue that excessive focus on such stories can lead to fear-mongering, sensationalism, or the glorification of criminals. There's also concern about the ethical implications of profiting from or trivializing the suffering of victims and their families. Despite these challenges, shocking crime stories interconnect with broader societal issues, such as media influence, public safety, and mental health awareness. They often force communities to reassess their values and question the effectiveness of their justice systems and law enforcement practices. By reflecting on these stories, society can better understand not only the criminals but also the underlying factors that contribute to such heinous acts. In conclusion, introducing shocking crime stories opens the door to a multifaceted exploration of crime and justice, eliciting a complex interplay of fear, fascination, and the quest for understanding, while setting the framework for deeper analysis and discussion in subsequent sections of the topic. The heading Shocking Crime Stories encompasses narratives that are not only dramatic and sensational, but also have the power to captivate public attention through their unexpected and often gruesome details. These stories typically feature elements that break away from perceived norms, challenging societal boundaries and expectations. The hallmark of a shocking crime story is its capacity to invoke disbelief and curiosity, drawing audiences into a world of intrigue and suspense. This point is significant within the broader topic of crime stories because it serves as a catalyst for widespread discourse and reflection on societal issues. Shocking crime stories often highlight underlying problems within communities, such as systemic injustice, moral failings, or the flaws within legal systems, prompting discussions and sometimes reforms. They capture the public's imagination, often resulting in widespread media coverage and public debate, influencing how society perceives crime and justice. Two striking examples of shocking crime stories include the case of Jeffrey Dahmer, whose gruesome murders and cannibalism stunned the world and stimulated conversations about mental health and systemic failures in recognizing early warning signs. Another example is the infamous heist of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in 1990, where masterpieces worth $500 million vanished without a trace. This case remains unsolved, raising questions about security and art protection in public institutions. Opinions supporting the coverage of such stories often argue they serve a public interest by spotlighting criminal behaviors and encouraging preventive measures. They assert that such stories can educate the public about the complexities of crime, motivating societal vigilance and precaution. However, there are challenges and controversies surrounding shocking crime stories. Critics argue that sensationalized media coverage can sometimes prioritize drama over accuracy, potentially leading to misinformation or stigmatization of individuals and communities. There's also concern about the ethical implications of profiting from the trauma of victims and their families. Some argue that it desensitizes the public to violence, while others believe it could inspire copycat crimes. In the grander scheme of crime stories, these shocking narratives influence how justice, morality, and empathy are perceived by the public. They often interconnect with discussions on crime prevention and rehabilitation, highlighting the necessity for a balanced approach between public interest and ethical storytelling. As such, they remain an integral part of the dialogue surrounding crime, continuously shaping and reshaping societal perceptions and responses to criminal activities. The heading Historical Context and Evolution of Crime Reporting introduces the exploration of how crime reporting has developed over time, reflecting changing societal norms, technological advancements, and shifts in journalistic practices. This concept is essential to the main topic of shocking crime stories because it frames our understanding of how and why certain crimes become emblematic within society, shaping public perception and discourse. Crime reporting has evolved dramatically since the early days of print journalism. In the 19th century, sensationalism in penny press newspapers heightened public interest in crime stories, often embellishing details to captivate readers. This laid the groundwork for crime reporting as a staple of modern journalism, where the demand for gripping narratives can influence the nature and extent of reporting. The significance of understanding this evolution lies in its impact on both public perception and criminal justice. Historically, reports of Jack the Ripper in the late 1800s exemplified sensationalist journalism's power to instill fear and fascination, illustrating how media coverage creates cultural phenomena around crime stories. In the 21st century, the widespread coverage of crimes like the O.J. Simpson trial underscored television's role in transforming crime into entertainment, drawing massive audiences and raising questions about media ethics. Proponents of thorough crime reporting argue that it holds power accountable, informs the public, and can lead to necessary societal reforms. However, challenges arise, including the risk of sensationalizing crime, potentially skewing public perception and disproportionately affecting marginalized communities. Critics point to the media's role in perpetuating stereotypes and fear, advocating for more responsible, balanced reporting. Controversy surrounds crime reporting related to privacy concerns, the presumption of innocence, and the potential to influence legal proceedings. The rapid dissemination of information on digital platforms further complicates these issues, as speed can compromise accuracy and depth. The historical context and evolution of crime reporting directly influence modern media practices, shaping the public's understanding of crime and justice. This understanding connects to the broader theme of shocking crime stories by highlighting the media's role in constructing narratives that can either enlighten or mislead. Ultimately, this point underscores the responsibility of journalists to navigate the fine line between public interest and sensationalism, impacting how society perceives and responds to crime. Understanding the historical nuances of crime reporting allows us to critically analyze current practices and their implications, fostering a more informed and thoughtful engagement with shocking crime stories. In the realm of shocking crime stories, the concept of notorious cold cases stands as an especially compelling topic. Cold cases are unsolved criminal investigations that remain open pending the discovery of new evidence. These cases capture public attention due to their mysterious nature and the justice that remains elusive for victims and their families. The significance of notorious cold cases in this context lies in their ability to engage the public's imagination, often leading to renewed interest, media coverage, and sometimes breakthroughs many years later. They serve as a reminder of the challenges within the criminal justice system and the persistent hope for resolution. One prominent example is the case of the Zodiac Killer, who terrorized Northern California in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Despite numerous investigations and public intrigue, the killer's identity remains unknown. The case's enduring mystery has sparked countless documentaries, books, and movies, illustrating the public's fascination with unsolved crimes. Another significant example is the disappearance of Madeleine McCann in 2007. Her case garnered international attention and remains one of the most discussed child abduction mysteries in the world, highlighting issues related to child safety and investigative methodology. Opinions supporting the continued investigation into cold cases often stress the importance of justice and closure for victims' families. Advances in forensic technology, like DNA analysis, provide hope for solving these decades-old mysteries. Advocates argue that maintaining public interest in these cases can lead to new tips and information that might eventually bring resolution. However, challenges abound, including limited resources and funding for cold case investigations. Critics argue that focusing too much on high-profile cases can divert attention from less publicized yet equally important investigations. Moreover, the sensationalism surrounding certain cases can sometimes lead to misinformation or speculation, complicating genuine investigative efforts. Despite these challenges, notorious cold cases influence other aspects of shocking crime stories by highlighting the intricate nature of criminal investigations and the ever-evolving techniques used to solve them. They often inspire legislation and reforms aimed at improving investigative processes and ensuring justice. Furthermore, these cases emphasize the impact of media and public engagement in crime solving, demonstrating that public interest can be both beneficial and burdensome. Overall, notorious cold cases remain a pivotal and provocative component of shocking crime stories, serving as both cautionary tales and beacons of hope for the power of persistence and innovation in the quest for justice.